Hi everyone, welcome to the GRF show, episode 5. Today, unfortunately, Denis cannot be with us, at least for maybe part of the episode. Maybe we'll have him join us later on in the episode. But it is my great pleasure today to be joined by GRF member SMH Peppa Pig Gucci or jaybooger. His real name is John, and we've been teasing his appearance for the last couple of episodes with pictures from his time at DirtFish. I know nothing about what went on there, and I'm really looking forward to asking him questions about it. But first of all, let me welcome John. Hi, John. How are you doing?
Hey, good, great. Thanks for having me. Um, yeah, let's talk dirtfish stuff. What you got? What questions you got?
Oh, we've got a lot. Yeah. Well, first of
Yeah.
all, um, I just want to know a little bit about you. I know we've had a few minutes to chat, but if there's anything you want to share with the listeners, I've got a couple of questions for you before we even get to Dirtfish. So
Oh, of
if there's
course.
anything we should know about you before we talk about your day behind the wheel of a real rally car, go for it now.
Right. Yeah. So I'm basically a 39-year-old middle-aged guy that got into rally about 4 years ago. How? I mean, Dirt Rally was free on PlayStation Network, so I decided to give it a go. Plus, I had like a Thrustmaster T150 Pro that I was using for Gran Turismo Sport, but I just kind of wasn't into that as much, banging into other people's cars. It was just it was a shit show. So, but I found Dirt Rally, and I liked it at first, but I wasn't like oh, this is awesome. Like I'm hooked forever. When I remember driving through Ribadelis or the more
That's
tarmac stages
right,
and just
Spain,
hearing
yeah.
pace notes. Yeah, hearing pace notes for the first time, I was like, "What the hell is this guy saying?" Like I was just like, I didn't understand what the hell a left four was, a 50, a 300. I mean, obviously I know a hairpin or Titans, I guess, but no idea what the hell he was saying. So crashing a lot, basically. Crashed into
Right.
everything. Yeah, so it was just like still an intermittent thing with Dirt Rally, but when I can say like the moment I got hooked was when I bought the H shifter, the I
Okay.
guess the TH88 shifter, and just after that I feel like the light bulb hit and it just got way more funner.
Right.
So, and my setup is not even amazing. I was using my dining room table chair for a good year. And then my TV stand just happens to have a hole in the middle where I could put the pedals. So, and
Ah,
honestly, that's still what I'm using right now. I'm
wow.
still
Okay.
using my TV. I'm still using my TV stand with a hole in the middle that I can put my my Fanatec V3 pedals, and I got the DD Pro direct drive system like hooked up to the end of it, so it's just right next to the TV. So just fancier stuff, but still simple
That's cool.
setup. I
So,
did. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm using. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
oh well, no,
lost
I
my
was just
train
going
of
to say.
thought.
So
Anyway.
it was like Dirt Rally 2 then, if you were doing Spain, right? Ribadell in
Yeah, yeah,
Spain. Yeah. Okay, that's
maybe.
cool. And what did your partner think of you using the TV and the dining room chair for
Oh
this?
yeah, yeah, I totally took up the living room because it's still in my living room right now. um, in fact, all my stuff is still hooked up to there right now from yesterday. I never took it down because yeah, every time I play, I have to hook that crap up,
Okay.
and sometimes I just leave it there and like I don't care if anybody wants to watch TV.
Right,
it's
right.
just this is easier for me to get back on.
For sure.
Um, yeah, I'm like using this chair called X Rocker. It's it swivels, so it kind of sucks, but it has speakers in the back of it. So every time I rev, I can
Right.
it has a little subwoofer, so it's pretty cool. I got it, and but the only thing sucks, it like reclines too. So I'm like every time I press hard on the brakes, it's like pushing, the chair's going back too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not an ideal setup, but you know what, work with what you got. Um,
Yeah.
just as long as it's fun. Like, obviously gonna try to get a motion rig down the
Yeah,
road.
you need to get someone to rock that chair and move it around and make it a motion rig manually.
Pretty much, yeah. I did that for my daughter when she oh yeah, I forced my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter to do rally.
Oh, that's great.
So
Yeah.
so that's one of the things too. When we went to DirtFish, I had her do a thrill ride.
Oh, she went
So
with you.
yeah,
That's amazing. Okay,
yeah,
well, right. So other questions I have for you. So you've got the names SMH Peppa Pig Gucci and Jay Booger. I want to know a bit about both. Now, having a 13-year-old daughter, I maybe understand the Peppa Pig thing when she was
yep,
younger.
yep.
Although Peppa Pig rocks for any age, I must say. It's like SpongeBob. But yeah, go for it. Tell me about how you got those names.
Yeah, so my daughter basically made my Discord account like years ago. And she thought it would be funny. Huh, I'm gonna make my dad has to shake my head, Peppa Pig Gucci. He's gonna like change it so fast, but she was wrong. I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm keeping this. And even now, she's like still trying to get on my Discord to change my name. I'm like, no, you're not.
Oh, that is
I'm
so
keeping
cool.
it. I'm keeping this shit forever.
Yeah, that's cute, man. Okay, okay, very good. And the J Booger, where did that
I
come
mean,
from?
and I guess that was my first. That's sort of my first PlayStation Network gamer tag from like how many years ago? 15,
Okay, okay,
like 10,
okay.
definitely over 10 years ago. Because Resistance was the first game I played on PlayStation. I can't remember if it was 3 or 2, and then that's when I made that gamer tag up. So whenever the hell Resistance, if you can even remember that game.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, jeez, I don't even know how the hell I remember that, but yeah, it was a long time ago. So that's just
So,
something.
are
Oh,
you on?
also because, oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I was going to say, are you on the PlayStation now as well? You still, or are you
Nope,
on?
nope. I upgraded to PC.
Okay,
So that's the other thing. There's a PC, there's a decent, spec PC running a 3080 Ti with a Intel 9. All like I forgot all the specs right now, but
okay,
it was pre-built, but it was, yeah, it was pretty good for pre-built, I guess. Um,
right.
I got some Fanatec stuff, the WRC wheel, the 49-inch curved TV, but I'm still using my TV stand.
Yeah. Well, we got
So,
yeah, we got to deal with what we have. So,
yeah,
it's a real money pit when you really get into it, I guess. And I've tried to resist upgrading my own stuff, but I think it's gonna have to happen soon. So
yeah, those
yeah,
those split payments, where you pay like 1 month, a certain portion every month. That is the way.
that's a good idea. Yeah, for sure.
That's the way.
Yeah.
No interest. So I don't know. I'm like giving you the way I looked at it. I was like, okay, well, it's okay. All this is about like 1,600 US dollars. I don't know how you convert that to pounds, or
No, well,
I
I'm
guess right
Canadian
now, yeah.
dollars, right? So
And
that yeah,
Canadian
I'm
dollars.
Canada.
So
Yeah,
I don't know what
it'll be
the
about
conversion
20,000.
rate.
Like, did you say 1,600?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that'd be about 2,000 Canadian approximately. It varies a lot, year
Still a
to
lot of
year.
money.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So
um.
maybe we should go to talk about your DirtFish experience.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I'm sure most of the people even know what DirtFish is because it's part of Dirt Rally 2 and it was in
Ugh,
Dirt 4 as well. But
yeah.
maybe you could just kind of in your own words explain what DirtFish is and then tell us when you went and how
hmm
long for.
hmm All right. Yeah. So I thought about what I was gonna say here a while ago, but
Yeah,
I wanted to start off to say like um everything I learned at Dirtfish I can apply to Dirt Rally, and I have, and
excellent.
everything just made more sense of why certain things happen in game.
Right.
Because when I was in the car in Dirtfish, I was like, holy shit, this actually does happen like this. I was like, oh, this is why this happens like this. But I'll get that into a minute, but
Yeah,
I
get back
just
to
gotta
that. Yeah.
say, Dirtfish is in a really beautiful town. It's called Snoqualmie.
Hmm.
it's 30 minutes away from SeaTac Airport in Washington State. So it's
Okay.
about 30-minute drive. Beautiful area. So I was looking back in the history, DirtFish. I guess when it was built over 10 years ago, it was like a mill, yeah, or
Yeah. So yeah, tell
something
us
like that.
what DirtFish is in case anyone doesn't even know what we're talking about at all.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, so I mean, if you played Dirt Rally too, I mean, that's like the free roam area that you can just mess around with on stage to tune your car and just to learn how to drive, basically. So it's based off a real place that's still standing today and doing training school in Washington State. Um, they don't really try to the funny thing, they really didn't try to advertise it as a rally school, just
Yeah.
because initially I guess the locals did not want to have that kind of vibe that oh, you're having a racing school in our in our town, that's going to make
Right.
everything all loud and noisy. But so they call it's I when I asked the instructor, he said no, this is a loose gravel training. It's like a advanced training course. It's like a safety training
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah, of course.
So that's how it's like mostly advertised as. It's like, oh no, it's rally. Oh no, it's a loose gravel training course.
I wonder if there's some kind of tax implication as well for it since it's a
Oh
safety
goodness.
thing. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
they're only allowed to have like two big events a year apparently. So I mean,
okay.
Summerfest was one of them, which I happened to schedule. Luckily, like my training the week end of. So when
Yes.
I got there, the next day it was Summerfest. So I was so stoked.
Ah,
It was
okay.
awesome. I got to see like a lot of like old school rally cars. I saw a Group B Audi Quattro. Shoots, I don't even know if I had that picture in there, but yeah, there was like old school Mini, just obviously the Subus
Right.
were there,
Yeah.
and
And the Peugeot as well, I saw.
I think there was a Peugeot. Oh man, I look back at my
Yeah,
album.
yeah. Well,
Shoots.
we've been showing that picture for the last couple of episodes at the end of a Peugeot and one of the Subarus.
Oh man, yeah, but like the vibe was pretty chill though. Everybody was pretty friendly.
So let me get
Uh,
this straight. You went for a rally school kind of experience, but they also
yeah,
had this thing called Summerfest going on when you arrived. Is that right? Or
yeah,
the next
yeah.
day or something?
The day like the Saturday before, the 2 days before I started, like it was like a Monday to Wednesday class, but the Summerfest one was on a Saturday, and
Okay.
I was just so stoked because I didn't even know it was happening. It was just happened to be on the weekend I was going to be there. I was like, oh hell yeah, you know,
Oh, awesome. And what is
yeah,
Summerfest?
super luck.
What's Summerfest? What do they do?
I guess they just have like it's like a car show, a thrill ride kind of deal. They had helicopter tours. They had like the local like cars clubs there. There was a SCCA. There was Autocross there too because I just happen to know because I do Autocross too. So of course I talk to peeps. Um,
Right.
and then what else? I'm gonna be sad if I missed something, but yeah, there was it was like a car show. They sold they were selling stuff. They had some charity stuff too. So some raffle stuff. So
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
awesome. And so you were actually going to do a 3-day course or something, is that right?
yep, that's what I did. The
Okay.
3-day all-wheel drive uh class.
Right. And did you
So
stay in town in a hotel or something, or do they have like
did
dorms or something?
oh no, I mean like you have to get your own lodging.
Okay.
But the town Snoqualmie has like a lot of good. They have some good places you can stay.
So the
Some
whole
more
family went?
expensive. Yeah, some more expensive. Some, I guess, there's like different budgets basically.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that really sounds awesome. It wasn't even just a day trip, because I
No.
mean, let's face it, you're in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and this is in the 48 contiguous in Washington. So
Yeah.
even though it's West Coast, it's not just a casual like weekend trip that you took, right?
Oh no, man! Like the last month before going there, I was like a hermit. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to catch COVID. Like, I just did not want anything to ruin that trip because, oh man, I
Oh,
had like I got the tickets like in December of the year before, and I was like, okay, when you get the tickets and that's so far away, like you just don't think about it. You're like, ah, whatever. But the month of, or even 2 months before, you start counting down. It's like, oh shit, okay, coming up, it's coming up, and every week you're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
okay.
It was really like something really worth like looking forward to and planning and living like a hermit to make sure you don't get catch COVID before to do.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, I know that they train rally drivers and stuff, but they will take just like regular guys like you and me as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's probably most of their business, I guess.
yeah, totally. My you don't have to have any experience at all. I don't think you even need to know how to drive a stick, like because they have like cars that have they're mostly stick shift, but they have some that are automatic, so they
Okay.
can. I think they even have cars that are just you can use hand driving, no feet. So it's
Oh,
very
that's
accommodating, which is pretty
yeah, it's
cool.
very inclusive. That's
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah, for
Okay.
anybody that wants to get in a rally or just even experience it. So
Yeah.
it was definitely fun.
Oh man, you're making me salivate and want this thing to be on my bucket list now. So, may I ask, was it expensive, or how, like, is that something you're willing to share?
I mean, no, I mean the prices are online.
Yeah,
It's like 46, I guess, $4,600 for the
for the 3 day.
3 day. Yeah. So I
Okay, I'm
mean,
gonna start saving up.
yeah, split payments.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
Okay.
uh,
Wow, that sounds so cool.
yeah, what's the other
So,
PayPal or something like that.
yeah, exactly. Um, so tell me, why did you do it? I mean, would you have done it if you weren't into Rally from Dirt Rally 2?
I remember hearing about a place because I used to live in the Bay Area in California too.
Okay.
And I remember hearing like 10 years ago, like when I was still living there, I was like, oh, there's a place in Washington State where you can drive Subies around the dirt track. And I was like, oh, right on. That sounds like something cool to do. But then I moved to Hawaii and I forgot about it. Um, yeah, like I fell out of the car game. Like I used to be in the because growing up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area in California, around that time, like all the popular cars. If you were in the car scene, I mean, there's muscle cars, but then there's also like kind of like the import car scene. I don't know what the hell they
Mm-hmm.
call it now.
Right.
I don't know if you hear it, like with just like Japanese cars, basically. Hondas, Acuras,
So regular
Mazdas and stuff.
cars that have been modified, possibly?
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was the thing over there. Growing up for me, like in the '90s, was like lowered like street cars.
Yeah.
So rally, I didn't even knew about rally when growing up, and that's what I regret. Is like I wish I knew about rally like back in the '90s, because instead of slamming in my car, I might have lifted it and put some gravel tires. Because I'm way
Right.
more into that now. But I mean, I found some similarities between the road driving that I used to do growing up. Like Highway 1 in California just has some windy roads, so I'd take my lowered Civic at the time and then I would drive through that, casually, or maybe at speed at some points. But then with rally, I think initially it turned me off. I was like, oh, I don't want to do dirt driving, but I was wrong because it was fun. But then, like I said, there's like that's why rally's awesome because you do tarmac stages, you do dirt stages, you do snow stages, you just do whatever like nature throws at you, which I like, instead of having a manicured grove pavement that's ideal for one situation or the other for
Yeah.
for lowered cars or whatnot. So yeah,
Oh, awesome. So
rally's
then,
awesome.
so how did you get from there to DirtFish then? Let's finish that
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah. So sorry, kind of went off in the
No, no,
side, didn't I?
that was awesome. That was really cool to hear. But
No. Yeah. But anyway, that's basically my background and how the hell I got into rally 4 years ago. But Yeah, I prefer it more than I guess drag racing or regular street races,
For sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but back to DirtFish, like I was gonna say, like everything I learned from there, I can apply to Dirt Rally, to the game itself. It might be you might I mean, even when I was on my T150 Pro with, like, it wasn't like load cell pedals or anything. It was just like a rubber stopper on the brakes, and then you can almost kind of feel 100%, 50% when you press down on the brake pedal. But yeah, but they also really stressed in the school is left foot driving,
Yeah.
or left foot braking. I'm
Braking. Yeah.
sorry. Um, they didn't have a brake booster or ABS, so you really had to know where the threshold is.
Yeah.
And the most important part is being able to lift up, and then that's how you actually initiated the slide in the Subaru that they have. That, by the way, it had a lock center differential, so I was kind of lost in the bit for a while. I was like, what would that do with car handling? I guess it just induces more understeer, so you really have to learn how to rotate the car around to get it to some of the spots and to make it look cool.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah. No,
hello,
that would
Joe.
be. Um, yeah. That sounds like it was fun, but also challenging. But what would you do? Um, well, I was going to ask you. Hang on a second. I've had a loss of thought because my wife is talking to me, even though I told her I'm going to be on the call.
Oh, sorry, man. I'm
Um,
like kind of just like talking too.
yeah, no, no.
It's
So
just
what?
me.
What I was going to ask you was, um, you know, if oh, how was the left foot braking? That's what I was going to ask you. How was the left foot braking? Um,
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because if you had no experience of it, I don't know if you um,
I
had or not. But at first, it's really weird.
it is, and honestly, the only reason why I learned how to do left foot braking was because of Dirt Rally.
Oh, so
So
you were already doing it before you went to DirtFish.
yeah, so I
Awesome.
could save 300 hours in Dirt Rally
Right.
with training left foot braking there. Kind
Okay.
of helped.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I'm sure if I went to Dirtfish, I would find out that even though I'm fast on Dirt Rally too, I'm probably doing a lot of things that you should not do in the real car. That's what I'm uh, concerned about. So,
oh, okay, yeah.
so I really want
Nah,
to
you'll be
talk more
fine.
about your driving experience. Um,
Sure. Details, whatnot.
Yeah, but I really do want to talk about that. But I want to get there first. So we saw those classic cars that we saw in some of your pictures, like the
Mhm,
Subaru, the Peugeot, and others that you've named, which we're going to have on the slideshow playing while we
mhm,
talk in the podcast.
mhm.
They were there for Summerfest, or
So yeah,
does
yeah. For
Dirtfish doesn't have an exhibit there all permanently?
they have an exhibit permanently inside their sales room. They have like I think they have a Peugeot 208, Travis Pastrana's like Subaru,
Yeah.
and then God, what the hell's the other one? Oh my God, I'm losing it.
Well, we'll see it in the
I'm
slideshow if you don't
yeah,
remember
you'll
it.
see
Just
it.
yeah,
You'll
yeah.
see it.
I'm sure you took a
But
picture of it.
yeah, it was definitely interesting because like other than the Subaru, the two other cars right next to it, I was like, oh man, I've never seen this car before. Because yeah, like I said, like California, they don't see a lot of Peugeots
Yeah.
or um uh I guess European car builds
Right.
other than the ones here, BMW or Mercedes or Volkswagen. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely a treat. And then they made me super curious, like, oh man, there's like a whole bunch of other cars in the world that I'm missing out on and
So have you
potentially
driven?
like.
Did you get back and drive them if they're in the game?
Well, I was told that for the Subaru that we drove, the all-wheel drive one, the closest to it was the 2000 cc like Subaru cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As far as speed and handling, yeah.
right. I'd imagine it's the car that's known as simply Subaru Impreza, the 2008 one,
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
closest. Yeah,
As
yeah,
far as acceleration and I guess handling,
right.
if you can, imagine it.
Was it Pastrana's um, rally car or rallycross car?
Rally. It was a rally
Okay.
car. It was the blue one, yellow. I don't know the
Yeah, the
deets
blue
of
and gold.
its
Yeah,
build. Yeah.
as people listeners know, I'm a big fan of the Subaru Launch Control series on YouTube.
Oh, right
So,
on. Yeah, I
so
watch that too
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. So I was just wondering what car it was. So they had you saw some of these classic cars. That's like I thought I wouldn't be into that so much, but I
Hmm.
think I really would be, especially the Pastrana car, and then seeing
Mm,
some of the older rally cars from when I was a kid. I wasn't that much into it myself,
mm.
but it was a British thing. It would be on TV every now and again, and apparently you can get there's a YouTube channel that has classic 80s, 90s rallies on it,
Yeah, yeah.
from like VHS days kind of thing. So what we also saw in those pictures that we used as a teaser for your appearance was the simulator room, where I could see
Oh,
at least
yeah.
some screens were showing Dirt 4. Did they make you
Hmm.
guys go on those as well, or did you get the chance to use that? And what's that all
You could
about?
you could use it on the break during your breaks and in the morning if you come early enough. But nah, they'd rather just put you in a real car. So that was just if you had time, like during your lunch break or I see some of the instructors and the people working there use it too.
Okay,
But yeah, they're really stressed more like you should get in behind a real car. So
sure.
so the whole day was pretty much geared towards maybe half hour or so of lecture to kind of go over the course and safety and whatnot, and then you just put on a bus and then you go towards the driving site where they explain it, they demo it. They did have two. So well, my class, I guess there's two sets of drivers. So you drive. There's two people that drive one car, and it didn't even feel bad. Like it gives you you do your drive first, or they do your drive, and then you get to watch them, or you can just at least mentally prep or race, or rest.
Right,
So it wasn't bad having to share a car. So
for sure. And did you feel you got adequate time on the?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Yeah, you'll definitely like get your money's worth as far as driving. So that's why when you get there, they do the safety brief and everything, and then take you out, demo it, and then just on to driving. Take with breaks a little bit here and there. So time there's time for like just relax and idle, talk and just
Okay.
just chilling. But no, yeah, they really stress. Okay, we gotta get you guys in the car and trained.
That's awesome.
Let's do this.
So the simulator room is really just a recreational thing rather than the teaching tool
Right. Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd
Okay.
rather teach you in a real car, so that was real cool. But
S-
no, I mean, their simulator room is pretty cool. Like, yeah, I checked out some of them. Like the one in the center is like the nicer one though, with the 3 monitor setup. But that was down when I was there, unfortunately, so I never had a chance to check it out. I was like, dang.
okay, yeah. Well, what about so the teaching itself? Like I saw there's a classroom kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like how long did you spend in there? Did they go over theory or did they do that mostly in car or a combination kind of thing?
Combination, I would say. I say the classroom time is really just for overview to kind of say, okay, we're doing this is what we're going to focus on, safety concerns, questions. I guess that's the question when people start asking questions there. That's when it starts getting into like theory a bit, or you know what you want to look for, you want to try to focus on. But it depends on who's there and what questions and what level they're at. I guess so.
Great. And so I guess this is the time where, I've cut you off a couple of times, but this is the time you tell us all about it. Like how was it in car?
Hmm.
Um, you keep saying that it's really applicable to Dirt Rally 2. Did you find the opposite was true as well? That things that you'd done in Dirt Rally 2 kind of helped? Would your experience in the virtual cockpit actually carry
Hmm.
over at all, and to what extent? Just basically now's your time to
No,
free
free
associate
free
here.
ball it.
Yeah.
uh So yeah, definitely, yeah. The training you do on this Dirt Rally series does apply to the real world. Well, at least from my experience, visually, you know what to look for. You know how to try to read the rhythm. From us in game, we know pace notes. So during the last run of the day, on the third day, we get to do what's called the mill run, which is the instructor giving you pace notes, going through their property. It's more like a sprint, honestly, but it's about like a minute.
Are we done?
A minute, maybe a minute and a half long. Depends. You're not timed at all, so there's no pressure to try to beat your classmates or the class record or whatever.
Down.
So
Right.
it's really just for you to learn technique. Speed they basically just say like worry about your entry and exit speeds. Worry about your entry mostly, so you're not understeering into a freaking tree.
Yeah.
But just getting your angles right, getting your technique down, the speed will come later. Is what they were gearing you for it. Now, as far as like it can get a little dangerous though, from like coming from Dirt Rally or from the gaming simulator to real world, because there were times I was giving notes like, okay, right 6, left 5, blah blah blah, and in game you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be in like 5th gear or 6th gear going like 100 miles per hour, but
No.
in real life, like in there, I never touched 4th gear. Like 3rd gear was the highest we went, and I remember like almost redlining 3rd gear, and I took a second to look at the speedometer, and I was like, oh, that's only saying 50 miles per hour. I was like, I should be going faster than this, but maybe I was. I don't know if like the speedometer was matching because the wheel spin of the gravel tires, blah blah blah. But definitely that was something I had to learn, kind of scale back. It's like, okay, I'm not. It got a little dangerous, honestly. Like,
for sure.
I tank slapped. I tank slapped a couple times, so that's when your rear starts sliding around. But I guess I knew from experience prior that like if you're starting to do that, you just keep accelerating, don't brake, or else you're going to crash. So had a couple scary moments. I understeered into some grass because I don't know. I was just putting so much mental effort into the first day that you just lose concentration and you lose technique. So,
I completely relate to all of that because I did just a very short ice driving ice rally thing in a Subaru STI from a local kind of teaching school. But it was really just 4 small laps of about a minute each, if that. And self-preservation comes in. I guess you have to train yourself over time in a real car to understand the limits of it and to and your limits as well, and overcome your limits so that that you're going to be safe at 100 miles an hour kind of thing, right? Whereas we're used to driving at maybe 70, 75 at most on the highway, right? And you're doing that kind of speed going around a corner sometimes. So yeah, I completely understand that even in 3 days you're not going to get over that right away, but it really does make us I think appreciate what the pros do in real life.
Yeah. I mean, even the first day, like I kind of knew. I was like, okay, the simulator helped me to prepare for this, but I'm not gonna assume that I'm gonna go off the gate like, oh man, you're like reverse entrying everything, or you're like going flat out or anything like that. So I had to learn. You really have to like be humble and learn your know your limits even first day. Even if you have hundreds of hours of dirt rally experience, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna bash on it. It actually does help. Like visually, like what to look for, because you're trained in game. Because especially when you go cockpit view, and then you know where to look. Your sight, look up, you keep your eyes up, kind of deal. Your A pillar of the car is going to be there. You have to like kind of manage around that, or the best, or when you have a three thing monitor, you got that. Guess what's it called, that bezel or whatever in the middle. So treat that as the A pillar.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that crap gets in the way. But no, it totally helps Um, God, what was I
Well,
gonna
I
say?
think what might help getting used to driving in real life is if you had a real motion simulator as well, like a motion rig, then you would feel some, not all, of course, some of the G forces involved.
Mm,
And then doing that in kind of the safety of your own home might um, might allow you to kind of put the forces that you feel in the real car into
mhm.
perspective and not be so alarmed by them, and start to kind of, okay, I'm this is for real, and I my life is on the line, kind of thing. Although I'm sure at DirtFish they must have emphasized safety as the number one thing.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you just brought up a good uh, training thing that I just remembered about. So weight transfer is one of the things they really they kind of try to get into your head. The weight transfer the car. So the first exercise was to just go around like a donut. It's
Hmm.
basically you drive, uh, you lift off the gas, you steer into the corner, and you just wait. You just hold the steering wheel there, and then what the training was trying to tell you, like show you, is that when you lift off the gas itself, you're putting weight transfer into the front of the car. So
Right.
your front of the car, your tires are digging, but now the your tires in the rear are loose.
Yep.
So as soon as you turn, you're putting weight and pressure in the front. You're turning, but then your rear is starting to slide out. I mean, especially in their build of the cars, I guess
Of
that's what
course. Yeah.
the center diff being locked probably has a
Right.
factor in that too.
And this
But
is without even braking, right? This is just lifting off the
no
throttle.
braking. No,
Yeah.
this is just brake. This is just lift, turn, weight.
Yep.
The next exercise was, yeah, lift, turn, brake, which that's what induces the slide. Um, One of the instructors there, he did something super cool. I can still remember. I was like, it makes so much sense. Like the traction circle, we learned, from racing theories. Basically, you can't do uh, more than one thing at 100. You can't drive, you can't accelerate at 100% of the tire's grip limit and then turn at the same time and expect your car to turn, right?
Right. You'd run
Just,
out of
just
grip.
you run out of grip, so you have to learn how to manage, 50% gas, 50% steer. So with rally with on gravel, it was very interesting because there's this exercise. I remember we're driving straight down, um, threshold braked. Dude showed his name is Kit, by the way. He's cool as shit. He left foot braked, locked up the fronts, turned the wheel, and then understeer, obviously. So it was the car was still plowing straight, even though the wheel was turned all the way to the left. So, but the only time that it started to actually rotate and turn was when he started lifting off the brakes with his left foot, gradually. And the gradual part is what really rotates the cars, because if you just 100% lift off, then you just shock the weight of the car, and then you're probably still going to understeer. But then
Okay.
it's how you release your left foot off the brakes, like slowly,
Yeah.
right. I guess I don't know, right on entry.
Hmm.
That's what rotates the car around, and then once you pass the apex, then you can correct the wheel, then you can gun, then you can just accelerate out. So
That's
that
really interesting because that's what I do, but I've never. I mean, that's just by trial and error, right? That's what,
yeah.
and that's why once you get that down, I always say with my tuning, right? Oh yeah, this tune feels like it's telepathic, and it
Mm-hmm.
knows exactly what I want to do. But of course, it's me having got used to it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a
Yeah,
real thing. It's based off real physics.
of course, of course.
So yeah, so that's awesome for you figuring that out. Because I feel like, yeah, before that, on the simulator on dirt rally, especially without knowing when the car is lurching forward or dipping back or swaying side to side, we don't know about that transfer. You're just driving in game, you lift off the brakes and you try to turn, all of a sudden you wonder why your left rear or your rear just like spun out on you. So
Right.
that's the sensation I had before in game, especially on gravel stages. It was like, why the hell did I spin out? It's because, yeah, you lift off, especially on like, you're on the high rev, you're on the gear that's already like close to its red line. And, the more you lift off, especially abruptly, you're going to lurch the car forward. And then you try to do any steering input after that, you're going to, you might lose your rear, especially on the rear wheel drive, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because,
mm-hmm,
well, when I do my tunings and sometimes I share them, people say,
mm-hmm,
yeah, it was really good suspension wise, blah, 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 but I found it a bit understeery.
mm-hmm,
And I've never ever found that, right? And it's because I'm using a small steering input and
mm-hmm.
my brake to turn the car.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's right. So they really stressed your brakes is what turns the car. So you're
right.
doing it. You're basically doing that. So you know the left foot braking kind of needs to be given attention to. I guess I would say to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that makes sense now, and that's something that we want to do more on the podcast is have a bigger discussion about tuning for those guys who are kind of lost as to how to go about it.
Right. Yeah.
And
Even I still need help with that. So
pardon?
even
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I still need
For
help.
sure, me too. I've kind of done a bunch of things trial and error, but there's always room for improvement. It's just at some point you stop and say, okay, that's good enough. But
I see.
then the next time I come back to that tuning and I fine tune it even more, I end up being faster. So I know that I could have, if I really knew what I was doing, that would be
Mm-hmm.
good. So hoping to get a bunch of different guests on the show and we talk about one aspect of tuning per episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be pretty cool to do
Yeah.
for future stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. It sounds like you learned quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, like I said, you can apply it in game.
Hmm.
Even when I came back from Dirt Rally School, which I went like in the end of June of 2022
Okay.
of this year,
Yeah.
and yeah, so even after I came back, I started applying the stuff I learned in game, and I don't think it made me faster, because you look at the times,
Hmm.
the scores and stuff right now. Like I'm still usually like around the last place when it comes to actually finishing the stage, and not DNFing or retiring or anything like that.
Right.
But
Right.
um, and I guess the purpose of it too is just I feel like I'm more aware of what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Like I know why the car is doing. Like I said, when you lift or you brake, you're losing traction in the rear kind of thing, or when you accelerate, all this physics happens, like you lose weight or you lose steering
Right.
input kind of deal. So it's just being more aware of weight transfer is what I can say I
I
got
think
from going there.
I think over time you're going to get faster if you keep with those principles because we all do things that are stuff that just works for us, but isn't
Mm-hmm.
really based on sound principles. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens with that, I think, is that you end up reaching the limit of how fast you can go doing those kind of wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you truly know what you're doing and you understand it, then I think that opens up your potential to keep improving as you just get better at handling things at speed and driving faster overall. So
Yeah. Thanks.
I think that's going to happen for sure.
Yeah,
There are
thanks.
things the way I was doing stuff. I think for a while that would only take you so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is still even applicable to real life driving because even in my SUV, I find myself like turning. When you make a left or right turn, like you trail brake into the corner, and then once you start straightening out the wheel, that's when you like start gassing, or you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah,
brake and then you turn and you start lifting off the brakes. As as you're initiating the turn, and then you gas out. So I'm like I'm using the same weight transfer principle I learned in street driving, which um I don't know, it's kind of fun.
yeah,
And I'm using it in autocross too, because that's the other hobby I'm doing. That's Um, yeah, I would say like the DirtFish is helping on that too. Like,
Right. So tell me about Autocross because I know
mm,
we've had Brett or Solidus on the show a couple of times, and he does
he does
Rallycross,
Rallycross.
right?
Yeah,
And but so what's the difference between the American Rallycross and Autocross? I heard that there were some similarities, but they're still different too.
right. Yeah. I've looked this up too because I know in Europe it's called something else. I think it's called Pro Solo or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because here U.S. Autocross is basically like with cones, like a parking lot with
Yeah, yeah,
cones,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
I see.
and I think that's the same thing for the European Pro Solo. But
Yeah,
it's just
that
the
seems right.
idea is like it's a short, it's a smaller course, about 30 to a minute long, of just varying, turns, angles,
Right.
dips,
Turns.
based
Yeah.
on, and you get to drive at the limit, just not as fast though. You're not going 100 miles per hour, and you're
Sure.
driving lateral, the lateral limit of your tires, but you're going maybe 20, 30 miles per hour, but then you are, your tires are at their grip limit,
Yeah.
just because of the way the turn is, or the cones are set up. You have to like get around it and whatnot. So it's a really good training tool. But from rally, I mean, it's kind of like with rallycross, it's kind of the same concept, I guess. With cones, but then you're in dirt. You're just in a different like surface. So
Right.
that's where it's different. I think it would be easier if somebody going from gravel that's trained in gravel to go into like tarmac or concrete than it is for somebody from concrete, like teachings to go into gravel, because the grip is so different. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know,
Absolutely.
like coming from DirtFish, I had to learn how to brake early, because I know I can't tell like how much grip I'm going to have, because I don't know how the gravel is going to be in front of me. So I learned how to grip or brake early, and then just kind of ease into the brake and just kind of threshold as I'm getting closer to the turn. But when I tried doing that in autocross, and it screwed me up because I actually had more grip than I thought it, and I ended
Yeah.
up like braking way early. I was like, oh, I actually have grip. So I had to like go a little bit later on my braking, because I realized, oh, okay, yeah, because I have actual grip.
Right.
So I had to kind of like revamp or rechange the settings in my brain to kind of get used to that again. So trust the car, like, I guess, or trust the tires. What I had to do, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome that you do that in real life as well. That must be fun. As you said, it's like it might be 20, 30 miles per hour, but it's still at the limit of what your car can do and what you can
oh,
handle in that situation. That's
oh man,
very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
There
Actually, it
was,
topped out. Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
No, no,
actually,
go ahead. You
top,
topped out where?
on speed there on my home courses here about 60, 64 miles per hour. So that's like 100% like acceleration, and then once I hit 64, then it's 100% braking with a
Yeah.
turn possibly. So it's a little bit different. You're like, you gotta go full commit sometimes.
And this is in your regular home car, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my home car. Um,
So stock.
actually,
Is it stock?
no, actually, I just put coilovers on it this weekend. So
Okay. Oh,
so
nice.
and then the tuning aspect of the game too is actually kind of like making me, I realize stuff with, real world stuff, because like my rear springs. Oh, I'm driving like a Tesla Model 3 Performance too, so that's my autocross car.
Oh, very
Little
nice.
little bit different,
Yeah.
but it's working. It's a beast. But I put coilovers on it this weekend. And I got
Okay.
like 22K spring rate rims, or springs in the rear, and 22 in the front. And I just can't help but think about it in game. It's like, okay, like, if you're going on the tarmac stage on game and dirt rally, I was like, okay, well, I put my spring stiffer in the rear and, like, lighter or less in the front, right? So, or
Right.
I changed the dampening like this way or that way. So,
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, what all of this for the last few minutes that we've been talking about has kind of told me is that tuning and technique do really go hand in hand. So maybe
Oh
we'll
yeah,
be talking about both rather than just tuning, because of course everyone's driving style is different as well, and the tuning may not work for one person but may work for another. I
right.
guess we'll have that discussion in future episodes, and maybe you could join us another
Shoots.
time sometime. What I wanted to ask you though was about DirtFish itself and how well represented it is in the game in Dirt Rally 2, and whether did you drive a lot of Dirtfish in the game to prepare for your visit in real life?
Okay, yeah. So, to prepare, like I did not drive the Dirtfish property in game prior to arriving there. Like yes, I did do the the GRF stuff, our weekly championships, whatnot. That's how I prepped for it.
Right.
But to just drive around, mess around on on location there, I didn't really do much. But um, as far as like how close the in game it is to real life, it's pretty dang close though. I would say there are some spots that were a little bit more narrow than I thought it would be. Um, between there's an area where there's like a one side's like trees and then the other side's like the shed. Um, in game it's like actually a lot of space in between. It's the one where there's like a lamppost and this little weird brick thing sticking out. And then
Yeah.
there's like supposedly stairs going up to the side of it, whatnot. I'm not even sure if that's in game, but yeah, it's a lot more narrow in real life than I realized because when I was driving through there on training, like that's where I had my little tank slapper where my rear was starting to slide a bit, and I was like, oh wow, it's really narrow through here. but
Right. And
but yeah,
but
very,
I
very
think earlier you when we were talking before, you mentioned that you were super excited and you were like a kid
oh
when you
yeah,
got there.
yeah, everything was. It's like you see, you're like, you see a place in your dreams kind of thing, or
Yeah.
in game, and you see it in real life. You're just like, oh my god, it's real. That shed though, where you can go inside and kind of do donuts and drift around in, though it's closed right now because the snow collapsed it over in the winter. Like,
Okay.
so no one's driving through there right now. So that's one of the only things that's different. Plus, there's no like ramp in the middle. You can just launch your
Oh,
car off of. Yeah,
oh, that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that ramp that
yeah.
you can do your jumps from and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
not there. I mean, maybe it was.
Okay.
That would have been fun training. Yeah, no jumps and no training. Unfortunately, you gotta make sure the cars are in good running order. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. That would be
um.
tough on them.
Yeah, that'd be no way to make money.
Right.
um. No, just little subtle differences, I guess. That little donut area where you can do like drifting circles off to the corners. Not wasn't. I don't think it was there. In its
Okay.
place, I think there's this hill that's in that place, and then on top of the hill is like a shed where everybody hangs out with. There's like a bench, and then you can watch everybody do their laps, and that's actually where I was taking the videos. Where me and my classmates were taking videos were from, because there's this little mountain, this little top mount that you can just sit up. There's like a break area, and that's where we started recording everybody going through the property. So yeah.
Right.
So in game, I think that's where like you're supposed to, you can do donuts or whatnot, but real life, not there.
Okay.
But
And what about your classmates? I mean, did you just go with your family or did you go with friends as well?
I went with my wife and daughter. When I went there, it was all strangers, but
Okay.
all cool people though. Yeah, everybody was cool. We shared, we linked up our phones so we can, or through an album so we can all share each other's pictures. So a lot of the pictures you're seeing are probably some from my classmates too. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, so that was just the one way we thought of. Okay, how are we gonna remember this like when we're gone? Because all we're not gonna have any. You get pictures like actually there's a dude that'll like take that's like be all ninja and like take pictures of you while you're driving your
Yeah.
third day. But in between that, like there's not, nobody's taking pictures or videos or everything unless you do. And that's what me and my classmates figured out. I was like, okay, we can just start recording each other and just share it. So, so kind of a pro tip, I guess, if anyone else goes there and has other classmates of the like mind, and you're on different heats. And that's what helps too with having two different heats. Is one will take a break, probably record the other, and then when that heat goes, and then the other heat can take videos of them. So
That's awesome. That's so
yeah,
you got to meet some cool guys as
yeah,
well.
and girls, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. Right. So we'll probably edit it so that when Dennis and I can talk, we'll be doing a roundup of the
Mm-hmm.
GRF week as well. But
Mm-hmm.
why don't I get your opinion before we, or your perspective before we draw this to a close? Did you
Mm.
do the GRF regular championship and special events this week?
I did. This week I did the special. Like I actually finished, so I'm proud of that. Like I finished. Didn't DNF. I'm happy with my time. Like I when I when I drive in game, like I kind of drive just at like my 7/10.
Yeah,
Like mentally, just because longevity, you gotta last through the whole race,
for sure.
the whole drive. So that's always been my mentality of going through the races. Is just start off kind of slow, learn the limits of the car and the grip, and then go from there as you get comfortable. So yeah, I passed the special, the regular championship. I donked it. Like I think just because of front wheel drive cars, I just kind of tend to like try to overdrive it. Try to do more things that it can't, like accelerate.
That was R2 in
um,
Finland, right?
yeah, yeah. So gotta
Right.
really use the left foot braking while gassing there, but also because it's Finland. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I got on stage special stage 5. I flipped over a couple times and then got lost, didn't know what direction I was going, and started going one direction and then went the wrong way at the end and got DQ'd. So I'm like, eh.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So
Yeah,
I was like, eh,
that
whatever.
that happened to SOB Cygnus or Josh, maybe just over a year ago. He
Hmm.
suddenly found himself disqualified after a crash, and because he
Yeah.
has everything turned off on his heads-up display,
Oh yeah, me
um,
too.
yeah, so he didn't notice that Phil wasn't saying anything, and there was no obvious warning on the screen saying wrong way disqualification in
Right, until you
1514.
are.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
he's just
until you are
disqualified. Yeah, it's
disqualified.
like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's the same thing. It's the same thing happened to me. I was driving and Phil just wasn't saying shit. So like I pulled the e-brake, made a 180 and go the other direction, and then I got DQ'd. So I was like, oh, okay.
oh, yeah, you didn't. Maybe it was too late by then. Yeah. So we didn't know what had happened, and then I was looking carefully at the video that he'd posted, and I realized that at some point the car had done a really rapid 180. There was just a few frames, and I said, "Could this be it?" And then he figured it out. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was when GRF was like very new at the time, and it was
Oh
in.
wow.
I think it was in Poland when that happened. So that's another location where it's pretty dangerous too.
Yeah.
So what about the in the special event? How did you
That was.
find Scotland in the Subaru S4?
Oh man, you guys or Dennis
No,
put
that was
the
me. I
really.
made that event.
Oh, you did. Oh,
Yeah,
I
I'm
was gonna
making
say,
these
man,
events currently.
the first two stages, you really had to, that one where you have to go through the bridge, and it's like for me, it's like a one left and a one right,
Yes.
where that's yeah, those are the hardest ones to learn in the beginning. So I was like, oh, you put this first, but
Yeah,
that
old
was fun.
Butterstone Muir, that is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I got just because of that part, I know it's like, okay, this part sucks right in the beginning or the first part of it. But yeah, no, it was fun. The whole
You
Scotland stage was super fun. And what car did we have?
It was a
We
Subaru
had the.
S4.
Oh yeah,
Right, it was
perfect.
2000 cc,
Yeah.
and this is a funny fact here, right? That I chose that car just because not many people choose it. It's not like the fastest of the 2000 cc, so I said, okay, let's make
Cool.
everyone do this. and we hadn't done Scotland in a while, so I chose that.
Mm.
So I told Denis this is what we're going to do, and he said, "Oh, great! It's Colin McRae's birthday, so it's perfect for that."
Oh,
And I was like,
oh,
"Oh,
really?
I had
Oh,
no idea."
yeah.
So,
That's
yeah. So the day I chose that, it was like, yeah, Colin McRae, who did used that same car in Scotland, is very appropriate. So, but it was complete coincidence, I must say.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Maybe it's speaking through you through the
yeah,
airwaves or
exactly.
something. You will do this in honor of Colin
Well, I'll tell
McRae.
you what. I'll give anyone listening a sneak peek of what we're doing next week in the special. I think it's going to be Greece, and we're going to split the pros and the tier one and tier two and three. So
I
the
saw that.
tier
Yeah.
the tier one people have to use the slower Subaru, and we're going to use NR4 cars.
Uh-huh.
So everyone else in tier two and three gets the much faster Mitsubishi Lancer, but the only catch is that's right-hand drive.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
very unique because I drive the car to what where the shift is, so I'm
Yes.
gonna have to like move all my stuff to the left. I mean, I did that for the Mini, like when I first started, because like yeah, I don't want to drive like a right hand drive car and then like I'm shifting with my right
Oh,
hand.
okay. Yeah.
That's just weird. So
That's what I
I would
do. That's what I have
yeah
to
I
do.
oh really
Yeah.
I want realism.
Oh, no, but you know what? I'm using the paddles now anyway. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's not such a big deal. It's just that in VR it's real. Yeah, it does throw you off a little bit until you start to compensate for
Oof.
the space on the other side of the car. Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
that way we will have much closer times, I think, especially between tier one and tier two, the
Oh,
pros and the uh, semi-pro guys.
right on.
Um,
That'd be
yeah,
interesting.
so I
That'd be
think it'll be
fun.
quite interesting to see, and maybe that's what we'll start doing now that we have tiers. But it's going to be an experimental thing next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay.
Right
Um,
on.
so I guess, John, what what I'm going to ask you is if you want to do a shout out to anyone who might listen to the podcast. It could be someone you know in real life and you force them to listen to you, or anyone from the club.
Nah, I don't want to embarrass anybody. I
Okay.
mean, I can't think of. I mean, there's obviously DirtFish peeps if they ever even listen to this, like you guys are
Yeah.
awesome. But
Yeah, that's a very
but
cool
I
thing
I,
to acknowledge.
I
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
guess
want to. Sorry, go ahead.
if if my daughter is ever hearing this, listening to this, I mean, tell her like, hi daughter, hi Ellie. You know,
Cool.
Um, you're
Yeah.
going to go into rally school. Daddy says so.
Yeah. I
Daddy's
wish
putting you into
mine.
rally school.
I wish my daughter would do that. That would be
Oh
so
yeah,
cool. Um,
force her in game.
yeah, well, I she used to
Punishment.
when she was younger, before she could even reach the pedals. I used to
Yeah.
she would steer and I would do the pedals for her while she sat on my lap. And but yeah, it's probably be something that I'll get her to do
Yeah.
if she
She's.
wants a little bit
Oh
later.
no, man. No, man. I force my daughter. It's like she's. This is your punishment. She loads Phil.
uh,
She just like doesn't like. She
oh,
doesn't like listening to Phil Mills. So I'm like, I'm gonna put a picture of Phil Mills in your room. And
you should
that's
be
gonna be
Phil
the
Mills for
motivation.
Halloween.
I don't know how to pull that off. I'm a brown Asian guy, so that's so funny.
Well, get a mask or something based on the game made.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my kid, I think she's. I'm quite a stickler for driving when I'm driving in real life. I learned to
Yeah.
drive on the stick shift in England. We
Awesome.
tend to take the rules of the road a bit more seriously when it comes to indicating your turns and keeping
Oh,
to your
okay. Yeah.
lane than most of the drivers in Montreal. So when she
Oh.
hears me complain about other drivers and give her like pointers as to why what they're doing could potentially be dangerous even though they don't know it,
Hmm.
she's I think she's become quite nervous about how difficult driving is. And so I've kind of made a bit of an own goal there by trying to prepare her to be a good driver. I think I've just scared her. So
Yeah.
that's a problem there. um
Maybe she. Yeah.
yeah. Well, come on, let's hear some advice here.
I mean, maybe start off somebody, help somebody else drive her. Have
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
else
yeah.
teach her.
No, no,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
She's cool. Like she'll just um she'll um now say, "Was that guy an idiot?" When she'll see something, "Is that an idiot?"
Oh,
And I said, "Well,
oh.
when she was
That's
really
funny.
young, it was
Yeah.
really quite funny. Some guy cut me off, and she didn't know much about swearing or anything at that time, right? So some guy cut me off, and she goes, "Daddy, is that guy the F word?"
That's so cute. Yes, he is a total.
Yeah. No, he just wasn't being considerate at that time. Try to.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. It keeps my own anger in check when the kid's in the
yeah,
car. So okay, so I'm
definitely.
gonna take this time to shout out to my buddy Brian or Broom, who did the special event not only without practicing as is required, but by never having even seen the stages before, like never doing this
Mm,
Scotland ever, and he
cool.
made it through even though he had to drive with a flat tire for a little while as well. And he made it to the end, and he's going to finish quite well. He started off in 26th and ended up in 11th. And I said,
Oh,
just
right
keep
on.
with it. Just watch the others drop like flies, even if you don't go any faster. So, yeah, there's a lot to be said for just finishing a competition when
Oh, yeah.
others are not going to. And that's how I started getting a taste for competitions. I was reasonably okay, but I would show up and finish them safely. And,
Mhm.
before I knew it, I was in the top 20, then the top 10, and so
Yeah,
on. So, yeah, it's a good one.
yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah, definitely when you start going into like the techniques driving, I think I know for me in real life, I'm driving in game like I would in real life, but that's of course that's not necessarily the fastest. And I know you can drive, you could drive faster in game, and it'll still reflect well in real life. So basically, what I'm saying is like maybe learning how to gauge entry speed a little bit better, or everybody else tries to shoot out at the exit, but then I think that's what's slowing me down is I tend to be more conservative, like breaking into the break zone and into the turn. But I'm guessing like you guys in the top tier just kind of have an idea to like maybe break harder later, or you just know what speed so that's my next thing as I'm trying to get better at. It's like how to go faster but still keep
Safe. Yeah.
like safe. Yeah, and still keep basically within 7/10 because it's that when you start picking it up just a little bit by a percent, that's when tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
But you know what? You might find that eventually you just become comfortable with 8/10 or 9/10,
right, right.
and still be able to do that reasonably safely, and or you might DNF maybe 1/10 of the time, and it's a reasonable gamble. You'll find your comfort zone. I think a lot of it is just experience in terms of
Mm-hmm.
knowing, as you said, when to break, like how early, and especially with the special events, I find that even though I might have driven that kind of car in that location before, the fact that we don't get to practice before means that for the first few stages, I'm feeling it out, and I generally tend to improve as even the rally goes on. So, even the time it takes for you to learn a new car will go down with just more hours in the game, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
experience part is definitely huge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I've got maybe 5 to 5.5 times more hours in the game than you. I think somebody read it out to me, and it's about 1,700 or
I was
so.
gonna say, damn, you have like over 1,000 hours in 1,700, so you're almost at 2,000 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought I had over 2,000 and close to 3,000, but I was mistaken. I
Oh,
think I was adding in my Dirt Rally as well as Dirt Rally 2
whoa, yeah.
times. Yeah, I mean,
I
since the last few months, since there had been daily events in the GRF, I
mm-hmm.
now probably spend an average of an hour and a half to 2.5 hours a day
Jeez.
every
Yeah.
night. Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my puny 300. 25 hours, including Dirt Rally, the first Dirt
Yeah.
Rally. Yeah,
Oh
I guess
well.
that's yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna get so much better. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
thanks, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's life. It's life now. So I mean, the next Dirt Rally series, whatever, with the Dover RC, EA, man. I hope it lives up. I hope it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope so too. I mean, for me, it's VR is the big thing, and I think only
oof.
Codemasters is making VR rally games at the moment. So
Yeah,
yeah,
oof.
so
Yeah.
that would be good for EA to continue that in that vein. Otherwise, I'm going to
Yeah.
have to start, going to Formula One, and I don't mind learning new things, but I'm just so at home in rally at the moment. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
so, John, you know what? I think it's just been so amazing having you tell us about your experience and having you on the show. Um,
Hey.
we should probably draw this to a close now. Thank you so much for coming on. It was really a lot of fun talking to you. I've certainly, um, even if I don't do it, it's something that I definitely want to do and put on the bucket list is to kind of do this experience that you just had. And I'm going to see if I can get the family, trick them into a Washington vacation
Mm.
at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's like the area around there is beautiful. So like yeah, I took my there's a waterfall there. I mean that's where we stayed in a hotel.
Okay.
Had a waterfall next to it, so that's was the big sell for my daughter and wife was like, oh, you can hang out in a room next to this waterfall while I go to DirtFish.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, that was the sell.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for being on there. We may just release our conversation as a supplementary episode.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, I'm going to speak to um, Denis and have him join us and just go through the week's results, I guess. Um, so that's about it from me, and I'm really happy that you were able to join us and share it with us. So yeah, and also thank you for doing this after an all-night shift at work as well. So I really
Yeah. Huh.
appreciate it.
Nah, no worries, man. Anytime. If you need me again, just let me know. I don't know what other info I can share. I don't even know if I missed something out, but
Well,
hey,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. It's good to just have another perspective on things. You might learn something, we might learn something, the listeners might learn something from any one of us at any time. So
Oh yeah.
it's and plus you're a good guy to chat with. So um,
Thanks, man.
yeah, okay. Well, I will end our call here, and um, we'll see what we can do in editing.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. Take care.
All right, take care, dude.
So that was SMH Peppa Pig Gucci. I love that name. And now we know the origins of that. And he's also known as jaybooger. So um, what we're going to try and do is get Denis to join us for a few minutes, and we'll talk about the results of the week in GRF, and then we'll stitch this together and release it as episode 5. That's it for me for now, and hopefully we'll have Denis joining us soon. And right now, I'm joined finally by Denis. Jay Booger, who you just heard a few minutes ago, was recorded a couple of days ago, actually. And Denis hasn't had a chance to listen to what Jay Booger said, but I'm really glad that he can join me now and we can carry on with discussing the rest of the GRF proceedings for the week. Denis, how are you doing?
Hi, Joe. Thanks. I'm doing fine. Sorry that I couldn't make it uh, to the podcast, but I'm happy that we can do this now.
Yeah, so you've been well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. So is there, well, how should we start? Is there anything that do you want to particularly talk about right away, or should we just go through the clubs one by
I
one?
think I think we can go through the clubs and discuss what happened and We can also discuss the results as usually.
Sure. So let's start with the regular championship then. So we had three events. The last one was front wheel drive R2 in Finland.
Yes, that was the last of the three rallies of the current championship, and yes, I was surprised there was still quite a lot of drivers participating, although R2 isn't the most popular class. And yeah, Finland was won by Mivi89. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Also, also a name that I haven't really seen in our clubs.
Right. I
Uh,
think I've seen it elsewhere, but maybe I'm mistaken.
okay, I think I've never seen him before. It seems to be a quite fast guy because he was 21 and a half seconds in front of Ed Rosa, who
Hmm.
finished second in the Opel Adam R2. And third place was a Swedish guy, Extreme Adventure.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting. Ed, I know, has had a lot of hardware issues. He just got his brake pedal fixed, only to find that his throttle pedal is also bad. So he's going to be
Oh,
installing new sensors. So he's been having a few um, issues there. But I'm sure he'll be bouncing back soon. MiWi89 did a fantastic job, and so did a lot of the others. Now, one name you will find missing from the top 10
is
or the top
you?
20 or the top 30 is me. I'm all the way down in 58th. Yeah, I just was having a bad day and I couldn't stand driving the
That's
R2.
yeah, I know you don't like R2.
Yeah, I don't mind it usually, but this time I was just having some trouble, adapting to getting a good tuning, and
uh,
I did pretty well in one of the stages in time trial just to get a tuning, and
yeah,
then and I was doing it YOLO really. I was doing it without practice, just jumping in
yeah.
and guess who's right next to me? It's Toolmaker in
Oh,
57th
yeah.
place. Even when we DNF, he managed to beat me by 12
It's
seconds.
with these front-wheel drive cars, I think it's always they're quite easy to drive on tarmac, but they're really difficult to drive on gravel.
Yeah, that's the thing with them. I found that uh, I can drive them pretty well and fast, or so it seems, right? It seems like, yeah, you're going
Mm,
maxed out, but then when you look at your time and compare it to other people who are fast, it's
mm,
not so great. So I think maybe I can't remember what happened. Maybe I pushed too hard and got a puncture or something, but I DNF'd for sure. So I had to retire at some point. So yeah, well
better
done
luck
to the
next
top
time.
few. Yeah, I think Typecast Wookie is was fifth. He also took the Opel Adam. He's really a rear wheel drive and some all wheel drive guy. So,
Mm,
and but usually even when he thinks he's done really bad, if you watch his streams, he goes, "Oh, that was terrible. That didn't feel good."
yeah,
And then you look and he just got the world record, and he was like, "Oh, come
yeah.
on."
It's always like that. It's when people like you just said for Ed Rosa, he's having hardware issues or pedal issues, and then you still see him being second in the championship. I mean, that's quite an achievement.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Actually, it is. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and
that's
maybe
cool.
not even the fastest car either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So what else do we have? Let's do the.
That was
Let's.
that was the just let us quickly talk about the final standings because
Oh yes,
this
of course,
championship
of course.
was
Yes,
finished.
yes.
Yeah, let me open that. So Ed Rosa won.
Fantastic.
Yeah, congratulations, Ed. Second was Typecast Wookie, and third was the name says Olsen 1964 BYN. So I'm not sure who this is. This seems to be a different name than in the leaderboard, but I think it's the guy that finished fourth in Finland because
Okay.
that name says Olsen 90. Oh, yeah, that's him, Olsen
Yeah.
90. 64 BYN. Yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
name. Sorry.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's been near the top of our standings in several events.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I wish I could
One of
find
the.
him to at least congratulate him with a message or something. But well, um, and yeah, and so Toolmaker was fifth, with Darrow was fourth,
Yeah.
and someone called But Why Mr. Duck? That's so cool, funny name, and in sixth place. So yeah, that's great. And what did
Yeah.
we have? We have how many people did we get participating overall?
Let me see. You
Oh, I
mean
can
in
tell you.
the in Finland
197.
or?
Yeah, in the overall championship, 197 people took
Oh,
part.
that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
197.
The the next one, which is going to start by the beginning of next week or mid next week, is all. I think it's going to be one which will be really popular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me
But
see,
I'm not going
guess.
to. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
H1 in Sweden.
No, no, it's not. But do you know that we, since GRF started, I think we did not have one H1 championship.
Good. That's why I like this club.
I I always think let's do an H1 championship, and then I'm
Yeah,
like,
we did actually. We did.
did we?
Yeah, in Poland. I remember because I got a green sector with in the very fast forest section with no lights, and I was my
But that
proudest green sector ever. I couldn't see. I was going like 190 kilometers an hour, and
but that must have been only one rally out of the three, I think, because I
yes,
can't
yes,
remember that there
yes,
was a yeah, okay.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
would be
yeah.
cool to do. It would be cool to do a three rally H1 championship. But I just maybe maybe some totally different people would show up at the top of the leaderboard. So maybe it's something we should
Maybe,
do in the
yeah,
future. Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, we should probably start with um, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's
Uh,
something that doesn't excite me very much, but it can be fun to, if you practice and try to get every second out of it, it's
yeah.
really interesting because
Yeah.
in the Dirty Discord, there was a weekly last season, which was, or the season before, and it was the mini in Scotland in South
Mm,
Morningside Reverse. Well, it wasn't the
mm,
mini; it was F1, H1, but everyone took the mini because it was the fastest. And I think I started off with like a 740, and I couldn't believe anyone could get under 730, and I ended up with a 707.
okay.
Just because you learn with these cars, if you change a gear when you shouldn't, that's 10 seconds
Yeah,
down
you're
the drain.
screwed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
But maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, but maybe we should do, I don't know, Poland or Finland in the Citroen in the special events club. That
Yeah,
would be
I've
fun.
I've I've wanted to do something like that. The Citroen I really wanted to try, you know.
I think the Citroen is I think the slowest car in the whole game.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting to do maybe.
Or
Okay.
maybe Void Robot could do that for the daily event. So Void Robot, if you're listening, please give us a Citroen H1 long stage Finland day,
Right, the only
please.
issue there is that we can't specify the car, right? Only the
Yeah, of
class.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be fun that at least the people in the Discord might just choose, he would
Yeah,
recommend
definitely.
just for fun that we do that.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
Cool. So, should we go on to maybe the dailies first? Because there's quite a
Yes,
bit. Yeah.
yes.
So the dailies, I think, were going pretty well. I think a lot of people are participating, and that's been really cool. Um,
hmm
there was a RaceNet screw up last week. It
Yeah,
went
I
down.
heard that with the point system.
Yeah, with the point system, so we don't really know whether the points are accurate or not.
Mm.
And the whole thing has been reset, so we can't even look at previous championship standings other than
Oh,
last week and
okay.
this week. But it's the usual suspects at the top: Toolmaker, Jandar, Ed, Typecast
You
Wookie, and me. Yeah,
yourself.
myself, and
You're
we have.
according to the points, you're first. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, but I think I would have won this week as well because Toolmaker and I were very close again. Um,
Mm,
Typecast Wookie would win it every week if he did every event for sure.
mm,
But it's been a lot of fun. That's a great way to learn to drive many different cars, um,
yeah,
and you have no choice. You've got to do it because it all counts towards the weekly championship. So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, his Void's been choosing some really interesting combinations, and
definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. When I get around to do them, I always enjoy the daily events. I even go for one or two practice runs before I do my actual run. It's a really cool club, and it now reached over 100 people in the club. It's I think 107 people.
yeah. Well, that's great. Let's see, 107. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, exactly 107. That's very good. I think
Mm.
because of the um, DR2 today, we might be getting more people coming in.
Yes, yes. I'm just before we started the podcast, I checked the DR2 today
Yep.
homepage, and I saw that we are not listed. But I'm not sure if this has anything to do with that our current events have not started, or at
Oh,
least not
okay.
all the
Yeah.
events. So
The thing is, did you look on the mobile or on
I
the
looked
website?
I looked on both,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I think I had to scroll to page two, and then it said syncing, which I've never, it's usually it says I don't know, upcoming or finished, and our
Right.
events it
Yeah.
said syncing, and I've not seen that before.
It's there now. So we've got the
Oh,
championship, the daily
oh,
championship.
okay,
Oh, the daily
okay,
championship is there twice right now, and we have the special
okay,
championship. Oh yeah, it's a whole bunch of things.
okay.
Yeah, some are syncing, some are active.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's pretty
I
cool.
yeah, I wanted to thank or give a shout out to Jedas or Gedas, um, who is the guy responsible for our clubs to show up in DR2 today. So many thanks for that.
Fantastic. Do you want to
If
quickly
he's
say
listening,
what that is? DR2
DR2
today.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a page where you basically can track the Codemasters events, where you can see what is upcoming, and you can see past results, and you can see where you landed, and you can also directly compare yourself to people from the same country. I think if you click on the country name, it doesn't show a flag, but it has like letters that say from which country you are. You click on
Okay.
them, and then you see all the other people from this country that
Oh,
participated in the event.
fantastic. That's great.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so the URL, the web address is dr2.today, and that's it.
correct. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, good. Thanks for that. So, yeah, anything else we want to say about the dailies? I'm pretty much
Uh,
done.
yeah, don't have anything to say about
Okay.
the dailies.
Well, then we will move on to the weekly. I mean, not the weekly, the special event, which is weekly at the moment. And I've just created a new one. It's Greece, and it's 10 stages in the dark. So that's dusk, sunset, which I think is a mistake by Codemasters because dusk is sunset in English. So I think they meant dawn, maybe. But
It's really funny because me as a non-native English
yes,
speaker, every time I create an event, I have to think, wait, what is dusk? Wait,
yeah,
what is dawn?
yeah. They don't have dawn listed, but they have sunset and
Yeah,
dusk. So I think they meant
yeah.
dawn. So it's all dusk, sunset, and 4 long night stages in Greece. And for the first time, we have 3 tiers. We have Pro or GRF1, Semi Pro GRF2, and Amateur, which is GRF3. And for the first time, we have 3 separate classes of car. So if you're a pro, you have to take the Datsun, the slowest H3 rear wheel drive car there is. If you're semi pro, you take the Sierra, which is a decent car. And if you are amateur, you can take anything you want except for the Datsun and the Sierra. And and if you do take the Datsun and Sierra, then as an amateur, then too bad, you're going to be listed against the pros and the semi pros. So it's in your interest to not take that car, but it's also a good way to quickly compare yourself, on the leaderboards when you see what car
Mm,
people have
mm,
taken. So I'm excited about that. And again, the rules for the special event, it's a 1 week self-contained
mm.
championship, no practice with that car in that location. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just go
Yeah,
have fun.
I think it's a cool idea with the different cars throughout the classes. It's also something we didn't really have before. I mean, we didn't have three classes before,
Yeah,
three tiers before, but
right.
I think it's going to be fun, I think.
Talking about tears, I think there's going to be a lot of tears from people's eyes this week because it's going to be uh, it's going to be rough. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be one where you need to look after your tires and you need to look after your lights, especially.
yeah,
Uh,
I like these kind of events
yeah,
where you just can't go flat out, but you have to take care of your car. But with it's always a bit frustrating when you destroy your lights
yes, it
in
is. Yeah.
because I mean you can just instantly quit then in most cases.
Well, I chose Greece because it's fairly dark, but also there's no kind of fog or anything like that. That especially
Mm,
in VR, it can make things almost impossible to see
mm,
without
mm,
lights. You just have to go slow and make it to the end. But you know, well, I guess this brings us on to last week's event, which we should probably do the leaderboard for in a second. But in that event, I was really worried um, about my car. Typecast Wookie had a puncture within the first, minute, and I knew that if he was getting that, I need to be careful. And so I drove very cautiously. Ended up beating him by just 10 seconds, even though he was a minute behind at one point. That's how fast he is.
oh,
But I was
wow.
convinced, yeah, but I was convinced that I was going too cautiously. And true enough, Weepy managed to get ahead of me, but nobody else did, which is interesting because, and it really shows that caution in these events can pay off. When
Mm, mm,
so
definitely.
it's a really interesting mix of you know my ability versus how or one's ability versus one's degree of caution versus the conditions that are thrown at you, and anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
Mm, definitely. I really enjoyed that one. And I remember when I went into the long stages, I was I don't know in what place,
Right.
and then I started the three, what was it, three or four long stages? I think four long stages,
Hmm.
and I just drove carefully. And after the long stages, I think I managed to move up five or six spots, and I guess the guys in front of me they just had issues or had crashes or punctures or whatever. So it really makes sense to go into these long stages carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. So same with my buddy. I mentioned. I gave him a shout out at the end of talking with Jay. Broom. He'd never
Mm.
really done Dirt Rally 2 before. This was his first rally. Not only did he not practice, but he's never driven Scotland before. And
Yeah.
after his first stage, he was 26th. And by the end of it, he was 11th because I said, just you wait. You just keep driving carefully. People were going to be dropping like flies. And then
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And now
exactly.
that everyone else has finished, he's ended up in 29th, which is
Mm.
for a very first event a really
Yeah, it's
um,
awesome.
good finish. So,
Mm.
and you're yeah, just a couple of spots behind you, three
Mm.
spots behind you. So, it's the right approach. I think you're going to end up enjoying the rally more if you can keep it safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also must admit I think Scotland is my favorite location in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my
It's
favorites too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Scotland in a 90s car. I mean the 2000 cc class or Group A. It's just so much fun, and it just feels like so much rally. The whole. It's just. I think they really nailed it with Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of some of the hidden rocks there, but it's part of the feel, of the rally stages. It's
Yeah,
yeah, I love
yeah.
it.
I'm not a fan of the hairpins there.
Ah, I was gonna say that's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
don't like them at all because if you don't nail it, you just go off instantly.
yeah, which makes it much more satisfying when you do nail it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
okay,
I hardly ever nail them in Scotland.
okay, yeah, that's simple. You'll get there though, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh,
Well, so the last week's results, I think Weepy came first.
yes, he
I
was
was,
first.
yep,
You were second,
hmm
and third was typecast Wookie,
yep.
and then fourth was Anti. I think he's also a new guy in the Discord.
That's right. But he's a
Uh,
very accomplished driver from Estonia, and he beat Nevada and Speed Sensei, I think, in the Estonian Rally Championship at one
uh,
point. But
okay,
I think he's been a regular in Adria and JRC especially.
okay,
He
yeah,
usually doesn't practice for many events, and
cool.
but he's been very helpful in the Discord as well with tips on rigs and lots of
Mm,
other things. And if
mm,
fifth was Toolmaker, who was just 1 second behind him. So it
mm-hmm,
was, I think Toolmaker had some issues with punctures and damaged cars that he couldn't replace the parts for in time.
yeah,
So yeah, very interesting. And we had 52 people take part in that. So and um, at least 18, I think, had a DNF.
yes, and only one guy taking the wrong car.
Yes, that's right. Which brings me on to that Golden Pineapple Award thing and what we're doing with the current event, where I said the Datsun is taken by Tier 1, the Sierra by Tier 2, and then the others Tier 3 can take any car except those. Um, it makes it very easy for one to compare themselves to everybody else in the same tier as them,
Mm,
but also it means that if you take the wrong car by accident, you might end up being, or deliberately, you might end up being compared to the wrong group, and that may not work in your favor.
mm,
But
mm,
yeah, it's a good way to do it. Originally, my idea was to have NR4 cars where there's a big discrepancy between the Subaru and the Mitsubishi,
yes.
and have the Subaru for the tier 1 people. But when we introduced a third tier, that kind of, we could probably still do it at some point, but it's not going to work as well. So I had to think, which car class has good
Mm,
cars that are separated in ability.
mm. And once again, it's just sad that Codemasters doesn't allow you to choose multi-class racing.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that
Mm,
any new game that comes out will allow you to do that.
mm,
Yeah. So okay, and that's really all for the special events, I believe.
yeah.
So, Dennis, anything else you want to talk about today?
Uh, no, I'm fine.
Okay, well then maybe I'll say a little bit about future podcasts we have. I think ever since I started uploading the audio only version in the YouTube channel as well, we're getting fewer hits, but it might also be because it's summertime. But we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Busata and Shinyo are finally going to get their time soon. Uh, Goatee Fish Snacks, he's going to be my buddy Jesse. He'll be on as well sometime soon. I'm going to try and get Typecast Wookie to come join us again as well
Mm,
at some point. But as I spoke with Jay Booger earlier, John, we might start doing a little bit on tuning as well, tuning and
Okay.
technique, and talking about maybe one aspect of tuning every week with someone who's pretty good at that kind of
Mm,
thing. So I want people to
sounds
stay
good. Yeah.
tuned for that, yeah, and learn a little bit about how to make their car go faster.
Mm,
So if that's all we have today, I'm going to piece this together, make this a really good episode with John or Jay Booger and now you as well. And we'll get this out to the listeners very soon. And we'll be recording episode 6 in the not too distant future.
cool. Looking forward to it.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Dennis, for joining me.
Thanks.
Bye for now.